Hello everyone and welcome! It's time for a new season of Battlefield and we have boats back! Hell yeah, so there are new map, there's water combat now, and torpedoes and mines, and hey Sophie! Sadly no trenches from what I saw in the new map, so there are no trenches there. You can dive though, like, that sounds cool, but you know what? Let's just actually start instantly and just see where we land on. We're like in the very south of Japan. This map is called Suru Reef, as you can see. Yeah. I mean, the map is showing it perfectly. Ooh, escalation even. Okay, let's see. Do we get boats? I'm on a boat! Hell yeah. Yeah, we should definitely get our own boat later. To fully enjoy the waves. Oh, yeah, also you now can dive. Completely freeform even. Like, this isn't just, you know, oh, a layer under the water. You can dive upwards and downwards. Which is really cool. Oh, and yeah, you can run out of air. Cool new features. And there's a wave system that we can definitely get into when we have a boat.
Enemy forces have captured Charlie. Our troops have secured more objectives.
I do hope everyone is doing well. Oh yeah, this island, this village will become wrecked as shit later.
Delta has been lost. The enemy have secured more objectives. Let's strike back.
Perfect. Like, this is beautiful.
We have secured more objectives.
It's kind of wild to think about how long it took them to actually make a map in Japan. I do wonder if this was 2 degrees still on the design board back in 2042, because they had one there, which is why I'm actually a bit surprised they didn't bring it back, but well.
Our forces hold the majority of objectives. Close to taking ground.
Ooh, ship. Wait, ship. Stop!
Objective Echo is under hostile control.
More broken ship, damn it. Yeah. They look cool.
We have initiated our attack on Echo.
You can even run over here, that's nice.
Objective Echo.
Yeah, they finally brought the Oak back. Another thing people wanted since, I think, Hardline. Yeah.
Be advised, hostiles have secured Objective Echo.
Whee! Oh yeah. Honestly, it's kind of nice that they watch out for it. Like usually water stuff is amphibious things in the base game, but this game didn't have that. Oh, there's someone. Die! Oh. Let's bring it back. Ah, fuck.
We hold the majority of objectives. Keep it close to take full ground.
Do we get... boat.
Heavy armored vehicles prepared and ready to go. Objective Charlie secured. Be advised, hostile troops have
Whee!
secured more objectives. We have initiated our attack on Echo.
So yeah, big thing they added was the whole wave system.
We have secured Charlie. Enemies are attacking Delta. Objective Echo neutralized.
Basically, there are high waves out on the ocean, but when you go into, you know, oh, there was a mine, calmer areas between islands, there's less.
We now control India. Good job. We need attack support on the marked objective.
Also, there's sync between people, so, you know.
We now hold more objectives. Secure our defenses. Our troops have taken territory. capture Foxtrot.
Sadly, not all is in yet. Apparently, there's still going to be carriers being added to the map with new jets, so... But that's in a few weeks, so... we still have to wait for those. I mean, two-seater jets, which is really cool, honestly.
Ignore India and target all remaining objectives.
It's also a pretty big one. So far, apparently the biggest in the game.
Right, we are attempting to capture Foxtrot.
Fuck. Get out.
Move to attack the marked objective. We now hold more objectives. Secure our defenses. We have initiated our attack on Echo.
I should definitely take a look at that building. Hey, D6, how are you doing? Welcome. Welcome back from... Well, I'm back now. Oop, no one here. Probably dive. Just to have a bit of a safer approach. So I heard things about this and...
The enemy have secured more objectives. Let's strike back.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it is pretty much. So I've heard from all the time, like, oh, this is the building from Hainan Resort, and I don't think it's one-to-one the same. I think it's even a bit smaller. But yeah, that layout is like, internal layout seems to be actually the same. Or like, mostly. As I said, not one-to-one, but pretty close. Which makes me wonder why they didn't use it to also make Hainan Resort as a remake. Oh. Could have made that an island chain or something.
We're attacking objective Foxtrot. Be advised, the enemy holds the majority of objectives. They are close to taking ground.
can't get up that.
Foxtrot has fallen to the enemy. Hostile forces have taken ground. Hotel is gone. Fight for all remaining objectives.
I definitely haven't played in a while. I need to get back into everything.
All units, light armored vehicles are ready for deployment. Attention, objective marked. Support the attack.
Nippon soda, sewer water, Yokohama milk.
Our troops have secured more objectives. Hostile attack confirmed.
Yeah, this is pretty much the Hainan Resort building, which is neat, honestly. But this is new, I think.
Hostiles are engaging objective Delta.
No. Hello, bot.
Be advised, the enemy has secured more objectives. Let's strike back. Be advised, we have lost all objectives.
New printer.
Objective marked. Support the attack.
Why is my... voice so weird right now? Oh well. No, I definitely need to get in the swing again because I am not good right now. But this village is getting flattened. Holy shit.
Be advised, hostiles have established positions at all objectives.
Attention, we have initiated our attack on Echo.
Attack support is needed on the marked objective.
This is getting chaotic.
Aircraft fueled and ready. Pilots are clear to engage.
Cheers! Thank you!
Ah. Well, that really didn't go well this round. But you know what? I like the map. I like that it's pretty big. Ah, conquest now. Good.
objective.
Oh yeah, you can knife boats back into the water, which honestly, it's kind of funny how that feature just keeps
Fueled and ready.
being the one solution the series has. Like, honestly, it's still one of the better solutions. Oh, wait. Now I get... Fuck.
Defensive position needed on the marked objective.
Wee. Huh. Mm. Hey, someone couldn't drive. Yep. That's a broken vehicle.
He's controlling the fight. We have Bravo under attack.
Take what you can carry.
We've begun our assault on Charlie.
Take it. Come on. Thank you so much.
Prepare to attack a marked objective.
Honestly, I'm definitely not fully back from last week. But what can I say? It was interesting just having a few, days without games and everything. I'd say detox, but A, detox is a dumb concept. B, I don't know if getting screamed at a lot is that much of a detox. If that should count in any way, you know? Oh, God.
Enemy attack. We now hold 4 objectives. Keep pushing. Bravo is under attack. Be advised, the enemy is taking
Yeah, honestly, Tur Reef is a very nice map.
Move to attack the marked
It's kind of wild how long it took that we actually got to, quote unquote modern Japanese village. Like, no, just Japanese village, or like southern Japanese village as a map in general. Like, I know some games have had them earlier, but like,
Be advised, the enemy is now in control of all objectives.
I got Take from that!
you know, considering that this is like a series about fictional shit and fictional conflicts, they've really been holding back on going too much into Asia, even though like everyone kind of wants that. But then again,
Grapple, you got
we have to. Do we want to bring up the gigantic disconnect between, you know, a bunch of people at the top and the fan base?
Alright, we now hold objective Bravo. Our forces control more objectives than the enemy. We're being attacked across
Like, I think I brought it up before, but so there's this thing, you know, there's this weird thing going on in the series that everyone's like,
We need attack support on the marked objective.
oi.
We are moving on objective Charlie.
Because you're like, okay, but you know,
Being secured.
generally like Southeast Asia stuff and such, you know, yeah, that's nice, you know, people will like that, and like, true, look, people to this day are like, you know, I saw, you know, this map was announced and people were like, hey, can we get a jungle one? Can you get one like in the Philippines? Because you had one like in 5 beach landing. And people were like, also, oh, be something like Vietnam again would also be cool. And like, yeah, but here's an interesting thing.
Maintain control of the fight.
Oh boy, do people want China again. And that's not, you know, just quote unquote us, you know.
Being neutralized.
Because like there is still, like there's a relatively sizable, like fan and player base for Battlefield in China, which is, you know, you're probably going to be like, wait, what? And yeah, ironically, mainly because,
Needed on the marked objective.
how should I put it in the best way? So, mainly, you know, because of Battlefield 4, really. Ironically, not like, I mean, a bunch of people also came in due to 2, but, you know, that's a different topic.
Okay, we now hold Alpha.
It's just like, Battlefield 4 is still kind of an interestingly relevant part of Chinese meme culture. Which, you know, not the biggest one, but it's there, which is interesting. But also, you know, because, how should I put it in the best way? The Chinese version is, I don't want to say hot garbage, but imagine this. The image of a dying soldier analyzing Chinese meme culture is how I come here, I see. Hey, how are you doing? But yeah, there is this thing about Battlefield 4 that it was, but the parts of the Chinese version were just like a little bit hot garbage. Also, like, you know, there is this paradox that I think a lot of people just don't realize, is that when it comes to video games and or movies, people just like to see their own country getting destroyed in some way. I don't know why, but it's a thing. I'm just going to point back to, remember the original Modern Warfare 3? Yeah, people actually, especially here, were like, holy shit, they're like, I think 2 missions and such, and I think at least 1 multiplayer level, maybe later 2, where like set in Germany, everyone was like, oh my god, this is cool! Like, we exist, the world is not just a burned out Arabian oil field or something. Or, the Normandy. And stuff like that. To be fair, many people in Rotterdam, Eindhoven, and Utrecht would love to see Amsterdam destroyed. Well, look, I know someone from Amsterdam, and he made like a whole video about Amsterdam in video games, which is actually kind of cool. The thing is just, they had, I think, Amsterdam maps in... they had Amsterdam maps in the Modern Warfare 2 reboot, actually, so those were popular, I think. Then again, Rotterdam, I mean, 2 Rotterdam maps in Battlefield 5, they were even probably the best in the game at launch, so that was nice, I guess. Yeah, no, the thing about the Battlefield 4 in China is just like, it's the same thing, because, then the thing is, like, you watch something, and this is like a kind of a thing from the 2000s, like, American or, non-native devs making stuff about different countries, mostly because they're like, oh, we need a change of scenery, and then it's just off, like, for example, Modern Warfare 3, you're like, oh, look, there's a beach landing in Hamburg. The Elbe isn't that big. Like, unironically, that's tricky. I mean, I do not know if Davilex would have made it, but considering that Guerrilla Games is still going strong, I just want to show you
We need attack support on the marked objective.
let me really quickly put it up in the browser, but like, that's, by the way, that's supposed to be the Elbe in Modern Warfare 3. Once again, I just want to say, the Elbe isn't that big. It's not like the Amazon River or something. Like, what the fuck is going on here? It's just kind of insane. But, yeah.
All forces control more objectives than the enemy.
That was a thing. Then, you had some, interesting things in the Berlin map, Berlin mission, because it was suddenly like, what's it called? I think you actually destroy the okay, so you destroy a building that looks like the headquarters of Deutsche Bahn, but it's actually just the headquarters of an in-universe company that they had since Modern Warfare 1. It was kind of neat, but still, it was odd.
We've secured more objectives. Let's hold it.
Honestly, yeah, I think some European cities would be very interesting as, in modern context, like even some non-European cities, but true, Antwerp could definitely be a thing. Then again, it's not like the Netherlands would be like a very core. Like if you want to do any invasion of Central Europe, you kind of need to seize the Netherlands if you don't have anything, because just like, you know, how much you can hold ships and supply and stuff. But yeah, the thing I want to point out is Battlefield 4 in the Chinese version is just off. It like for example, the main villain speaks, well, he speaks Mandarin in the game. They cast a Cantonese actor. The accent is so thick that it just sounds like completely different words in for Chinese people, which is, again, with amazing threats like put them up on the stock market, which, you know, okay, that's an interesting choice of words to off someone, but sure. And also, you know, wow, what was that? Oh, fuck. And also just the fact that, you know, people kind of like to see their stuff. Like, look, people even got excited here that, oh, there's Leopard 2s in this game. Not the rest, so we don't get, you know, the German IFV and stuff. Yeah, there's a bunch. There's a video I can post on the Discord if you're interested. But there's apparently a bunch of stuff that just keeps getting put around because it's just, you know, kind of odd. And yeah, the rest is just people like seeing their own stuff, even if it's getting destroyed. Like, to a degree, especially if it gets destroyed. Like, I can just, you know, this is definitely more anecdotal, I will grant that. But back in the day, when they revealed the multiplayer at Gamescom, I actually was watching the live stream with a Chinese exchange student, and he was like, oh my god, I know where this is in Shanghai! Like, from the background stuff. It's fictional, but still, you know. It's just kind of neat. So I'm still a bit bummed that the 2 German maps is somewhere in Bavaria that isn't even like the most picturesque part they could pick, and underground. Hey, DICE, if anyone from DICE is hearing this, so first off, we need at least 2 more German maps that are a city and somewhere with more stuff, just you know, outside. You can pick North German. It's fine. Then also, yeah, do an Amsterdam map.
We have Bravo under attack.
You should have the Netherlands in the game again. Just saying.
We need you to support the attack.
But yeah, there people are there. Like, Chinese players are there because, you know, the game was set in China, even though, you know, the Chinese people were supposed to be the bad ones, but, you know, no one really cares about that to a degree. And, you know, fun fact, yeah, if you're wondering, the CCP threw a hissy fit because they were like, this game is ruining, you know, it's misrepresenting us, and look, do we really want to get into the fact that if we actually agree that every single, you know, numbered title, and from what I know, from what we can see, at least, you know, year titles, those have like a year attached to them, are all canon. Do we really want to get into that fucking stuff? Into that storyline? Like, to the point that it's kind of hinted at in 3, because it's like the only way it makes sense, but also, you know.
We are targeting Alpha.
Hostiles now control objective goal. Be advised, hostiles are taking Golf.
Not to mention that some stuff might just be non-canon or not, but
Objective Alpha neutralized.
then I would need to get into CPC being painfully anal about me is saying. Oh yeah, like it was just like it was one of those moments. Like, I think the worst part is that
We need you supporting me.
I think the worst problem that Battlefield has is just the fact that it kind of, so from what I feel is the case, is that it has to pretend, since Battlefield 3, as if this is just, you know, this is just similar to real life. Even though it clearly is a sequel to 2, and I do not know how to wrap up the quote-unquote lore of Battlefield 2. I think I saw someone describe it as Shizu lore, and that might generally be the best description, because
Contact enemy tank!
just so you know, and I think this again, this is the one thing about Battlefield where it's like nothing is ever fully confirmed. It's just hinted at, and some stuff is like only really makes sense if you look through that lens at it. But do we really want to talk about the MEC? And you're probably wondering, yeah, what the hell is the MEC? So, the MEC is the shortage for the Middle East Coalition. And if you're now wondering, wait, no, they did. They basically had a timeline where all the Arabian countries united into one military faction.
Let's go!
And, you know, basically pooled all of their oil money and manpower into being a military force that wanted to choke off the rest of the world from the oil supply.
Hostile forces are still ahead in the fight.
That is the fucking story of Battlefield 2. I am not making this up. It's quite literally all of the Middle East is one superpower. And the USA wants the oil. And I think for some reason they're also beefing with China. So yeah, China is also just in that war, not fighting the MEC, interestingly, and Russia is just neutral. Considering how many times Russia is just the antagonist late in the series, it is kind of interesting to look at that. But sure, I guess.
We've taken objective Alpha. Be advised, mission close to failure. Find
I can see why people play Battlefield for the story. You know what? You will love how much descriptions were in the old games. Like, generally, you loaded into a map, and there was a fucking detailed breakdown on why this map exists. Like, what is the reason for the attack? What are the goals? It is weirdly in depth, you know? Still, and you're probably like, okay, so USA fights a two-front war against China and the Middle East coalition. Then with one expansion, the EU actually joins. That's the first time the EU was a playable faction, but that happened. Which I think is also kind of the explanation on why they won in the end. So, you know, splintering the Middle East, and China also got kind of whacked. There's a map in the literally on the Great Wall of China. Ooh, the jet is nice. I like that end screen. It's wild, and if you're now thinking, okay, that's, you know, alternate timeline. Arabian NATO happened. Look, that's just like something, I guess. They invade the USA. They've never said this wasn't canon, but Arabian NATO invades the USA in Battlefield 2. That's just part of the story. You fight in Virginia. So yeah, if anyone comes at me and is like, how does Battlefield 3 make any sense that, you know, for example, you know, apparently Iran isn't, you know, the Iran we know from now, but has like some, you know, group that is like, I don't know. Again, it's just fucking weird. But again, we're dealing with, they can't really say it, so after they did the whole thing with China, where apparently there was a whole, China was already apparently breaking apart. Again, the thing that only really makes sense if you had like a previous game where they lost a massive war, but yeah, the CCP was like, no, this is bad. And you know, the previous game was Iran going, no, we have to ban this game because it's misrepresenting us. And like, it's not representing you at all. I mean, it's set in Iran, yes, but like, it's definitely not your Iran. It's definitely alternate timeline Iran. Maybe one where the USA didn't topple Mossadegh? I don't know. But yeah, again, the whole MEC thing. Same as the games where North Korea somehow invaded and won against the USA. Yes. Hello, home front. Wait, hey, we're gonna have a sequel to that, quote unquote. I will probably play the open beta in August, but the new Modern Warfare game is about North Korea invading South Korea, and it's like, I guess. Once again, the story of Battlefield is just weird as shit. It just makes more sense in. Again, it makes. Why is there someone? Why does always? Again, it makes ironically more sense if you actually put it in a timeline. Not that it makes like all the sense, but it makes more sense. Let me put it like that. Yeah. Then again, I mean, like, for example, if you're wondering, oh hey, why is Pax Armata a thing? And apparently, people were, some people are like, oh, this was supposed to be Russia once, and like, nope. I can tell you this was never supposed to be Russia. Never. It's kind of wild. The funniest bit about seeing videos about Battlefield Online is that people just do not know the full context of things. I think that is probably the funniest bit about it, because like, yeah, for example, takes on what Battlefield represents and means is correct. And, unless you're ignoring, everything that came before, because, like, ooh, why is NATO falling apart? Why would a country like France leave NATO? I don't know, because their capital got nuked. That happened. Paris has, like, a radioactive bomb crater in its center. It was like on the metro line. They hit the public transportation. And yeah, the irony is now we are living, now we look at games where they're like, we can't mention China, we can't put Chinese stuff in the game. It's like, that's why you have an audience in China. Oh my god, it's so wild. It's like, no, don't piss off the Chinese, don't set maps in China, don't show Chinese stuff. Shut up. Just make a Chinese faction and make everyone bad. Why would a country like France leave NATO? The goal has entered. Well, okay, no. Okay, I'm going to be very pedantic now. They didn't leave NATO. They left NATO command because France. Which is probably also why. Okay, there is no. I mean, there's Centrac and Norfac, but no Southac. Also, like Southern Army Group, because those were supposed to be led by France, and I think Norfac was also to a degree supposed to be led by France, but because de Gaulle left command, this is why the Netherlands got it, who then also were like, we don't want to like station troops in Germany. So how about we just put them near like railway lines and then just haul them into Germany when if there's ever an attack? And the answer is, lol, LMAO, that would never work. What the fuck? Couldn't say no. But yeah, look, I'm just like, it's kind of funny to the fact that everything in Battlefield makes more sense if you could just consider everything canon. Well, nearly everything. The only thing that just generally doesn't work is Battlefield 4's Final Stand DLC. That just does not work in the way it does. But everything else just explains shit way better, because you're like, oh, why would the CIA create basically a fake antagonist so the USA could keep waging war? I don't know. If there's one major war every decade. Look, I'm just saying, when we're talking about how the military-industrial complex might be too strong in our timeline, I don't want to even imagine how strong, how big it would be in their timeline. Whoops. Yeah. Like, that's the thing I get, actually. Like, the whole, oh no, we need to just keep the war going in some form to make money. Yeah, it makes more sense if you just had multiple major wars all the time. Okay, so and again, in general, I would say I would love to see more stuff embraced. But I mean, people are like demanding a 2142 sequel, or you know, actual prequel for a long time now, and yeah.
Be advised, the enemy are now in control of more objectives.
Oh well, but yeah, now we are stuck with Japanese and Pacific stuff. But hey, not that they just threw up probably one of the most interesting questions of the whole thing, because okay, so as you probably, for the few that don't know, one of the factions in this game is called Samata, which is a okay. Just for context, yes, they are a quote-unquote private military corporation, but they're more like, you know, let's have a quote-unquote unaffiliated group that was apparently also backed by the CIA at some point, but you know, then basically went rogue by just gobbling up everyone that just hates the USA and like look, the game even and acknowledges that yeah, there are enough people that just hate the USA, and hey, you know, if we look at the whole timeline idea of Battlefield, there would just be more, you know.
The enemy has taken Delta.
They're essentially, and you will see that wow,
Alright, we've secured Bravo.
what just happened? So the thing is, you're probably wondering how the hell did they get to, how the hell did they even get to Japan? Because, you know, this is like the southern part of Japan, this is like the whole, we need to, take over, the military installations, to have, like, the Pacific open, because, you know, the next map is Wake Island, and it is, like, slap dab in the middle of the Pacific, and also there will probably be more than that, because like it would be quite a shame if those are going to be the only two maps with boats in them, right? Hopefully season 5 will have more, but anyway, so you're wondering how did the you know, how did the PMC get like a whole fucking okay, they already have like an eye, but like how the hell do you think did they get even to, you know, the Pacific? Well, so the answer to that is, they have their own aircraft carriers.
Bravo.
I do not know how to actually put it in any better way, but like, yeah, they have their own aircraft carriers.
Objectives out. All our objectives are under enemy attack.
Okay, wait, I need to put something else up because now it gets interesting.
Attack order received.
So, and here it is already. There it is already. So let's put up the browser again. As you can see, this is the carrier they have. If you know a little bit about carrier design, you will notice that this is similar to a Soviet design. But this is not a Soviet design. Yeah. That is a relatively newer one, but you know, still with the ramp design. So now the question is like, where the fuck did they get carriers from? Like, newly made carriers? Who makes them carriers? And oh, good, they love their... Yeah, but like, you need to keep in mind, they're not the only ones that use rams. Like, I mean, I think China is currently abandoning the rams. You know, in favor of catapults, but it's not that. Again, this is not a Soviet carrier, is it? Like, the bridge is different and all of that. So, I mean, just to be clear, this is fictional. It's just like, who... Now, the question is kind of like, who builds, you know, carriers that are the most similar to that? Like, again, the bridge and stuff, not the same, but who is, like, the closest... What is the closest design to that? And people are actually very much bitching about that, because I have one bet, mainly because the bridge is the closest. Again, this is not, you know, this is closer to a Nimitz class, but anyway. And this is probably one logical thing, but people are just like, again, oh no, how do you say that? I don't know. So this is the INS Vikrant. So if you're wondering, okay, so who built that one? India. Again, not one-to-one, but also, this is also not a Soviet design and definitely not a Chinese design, but the closest design in terms of bridge and layout? That's Indian. Which just, wowsy, that just makes everything way more interesting if you think about it. It makes sense though. You know, like, truthfully, like, if you want to have someone supply your faction with jets and ships, even if they're just copycats to a degree, yeah, you kind of want to have a nation that actually has, you know, the manpower and build power. And, like, let's just be clear here, they're attacking, you know, from Southeast Asia side, so Okay, I'm just going to say it right here. It's not gonna be China because they're all afraid of just pissing off China in any shape or form. It's India. It has to be India because, like, generally this is the only goddamn country in that region that has even remotely the know-how and, you know, manpower and resources to make carriers in any shape or form. And be like, oh, but maybe not now. Again, this is probably a time where there was always war, and they probably would have benefited from a bigger, you know, military economy anyway. But also, let's just be real here once again. The only country that has in any shape or form the capabilities of doing that is India. Period. And if you don't want to hear that, play fucking Victoria 3. I'm not saying Vicky 3 is like the most accurate, but if you want to know anything about the potential of a country on its own, it's not bad. And like you've seen Agonia play India, she's already ranking extremely high while being strangled from colonialism. She's just like running the country efficiently while being like choked to death. The moment she goes independent, she's just going to dominate everything. So yeah, not sorry to say, it's Indian carriers, and if they ever add cruisers as ships, probably also Indian made, because like, duh, someone has to produce this shit and, or you know, buy it, and India just makes sense. Not to mention that a bunch of stuff already points this to be like mainly a coalition of you know, Southeast Asian countries and, you know, India. So the Dutch had a carry, and it would definitely have them in such a 1.1. Yeah, like I want to just point out the Russians and the Americans fought in Iran. Paris got nuked, and then there was like a whole ass war in, you know, in the South Chinese Sea and the Chinese mainland. Yeah, in that timeline, India and Singapore would have been definitely major people. Then you also be like, okay, but why would Singapore work together with India? Again, this is what I mean with it makes way more sense if you actually count all the games as canon, because, well, there is, everyone wants to also have like a multiplayer map set there, but so the Chinese invade Singapore and the Americans invade back. So Singapore is kind of fucked. So Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia are like definitely interested in the whole idea of how about we make a coalition, so, you know, none of these assholes can invade us anymore. And yeah, I'm sorry. You know why I throw Singapore in here? Because the Leopard A2, Leopard 2A4 that Pax Amata is using is based on the Singaporean export model that they produce domestically. So, you know, what do you mean the PMC that is that is you know, confirmed to be backed by a coalition of nations, which is, you know, probably from Southeast Asia, has just, you know, a bunch of, you know, domestically built export models of a tank. I wonder who built that tank. I wonder who gave the builder the blueprints to build such a tank. I truly wonder. Probably wasn't like India and Singapore working together. No. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, nearly everyone had a carrier. Look, I think the irony about carriers is more like which type of carrier. Like, for example, if we still talk about like, oh, do the French have a carrier? You know, yes. But like, how should I put it the best way? French carriers are. Let me put it like this: there are carriers, and then there are carriers. Like, back during World War II, this was like definitely more, you know, flexible. But there are basically two types. There are like the smaller ones, which are also classified, especially in USA, as amphibious assault boats. But they're still carriers, you know? They actually showed up a lot of times in earlier titles because, you know, they kind of make sense because, you know, they have like whole base where you can just have, you know, amphibious IFVs, landing crafts, etc., etc., etc. Let me just put them up. Blah, blah.
Be advised, the enemy now controls more objectives.
Do 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 do. I'm just looking them up.
Objective Charlie neutralized. Be advised, our labs still control more objectives. Let's regroup. Objective Charlie has been secured.
We need attack support on the marked objective.
The enemy is still winning the fight. Get back and take control.
There we go. Ah.
Position is at risk.
But yeah, Just you know, the point I want to make is, if we talk about like carriers, the USA still has those. This is the Wasp class. I'm not actually all that objective, honestly. French carriers are French. Well, we get to them. If you're thinking, that's an aircraft carrier, right? It is. That's the Wasp class. It has helicopters, it has jets, it has, you know, yeah, you can lift them up, etc., etc. That's just very much, how's it called? That's a carrier, right? No, that's not even a carrier. The Wasp class is an amphibious assault ship. These things, as you can see, due to that, they're basically made to drive up to shores and unload troops. You know, helicopters have jet support, and you know, then also just like tanks and everything onto the beach. And the USA has 8 of these things. And now you're probably wondering, okay, but what do you mean is a carrier then? This thing, that's the Nimitz class. The Nimitz class is just, as you can see, way fucking bigger. That's the thing that they just roll up to have a lot of, just to have like a whole lot of goddamn planes in the air. That's the thing that dominates the sea. And just so you know, they can be bigger. That's a Nimitz class. That's Gerald R. Ford class. They made bigger ones. It's like when we talk about like carriers, yeah, sorry, American carriers are kind of insane in terms of the size that they have. And again, that's the thing. When people talk about carriers, they mean Nimitz and Gerald R. Ford. They do not mean, they do not actually mean, you know, the amphibious assault ships. Because the Americans do not count this one as like a real carrier. That's just one of those 8 things you drive near the shore just to land. And truth be told, the French also have one. That's the Mistral class. And if you're probably being like, wait a second, that's a lot smaller. Yeah. It is actually so small that the actual, you know, the actual thing is they're counted as helicopter carriers, which is what most have. It's quite literally just there to have, you know, it's literally, quite literally just there to have landing boats, and, well, that's that. Landing boats and helicopters. I mean, not to mention, they do have one, yeah. Obviously, like, we're talking France, they have the Charles de Gaulle, obviously. But like, I don't want to, be too, you know, disrespectful here, but like, you know, the Charles de Gaulle is way closer to the, is it again? Yeah. The Charles de Gaulle is actually way closer to the Wasp class. Like, this thing here is French, is the French carrier. And it's equal to a thing that the Americans do not even count as a carrier. I know the USA is bigger, better, everything, but holy shit. Yeah, I just want to point that out. When we talk carriers,
The attack.
we have to actually talk about super carriers. You know?
Ground. India has been removed. All remaining objectives are your target.
And the Chinese, by the way,
Objective Bravo.
have also carriers, but not, you know, just like scratching the like scratching what America has
Our forces are attacking
in terms of, you know, size. Because holy shit. And by the way, if you're wondering what the British, those are the British ones. They're just wider, but like in reality, we're just talking about the same fucking shit again. Who's still pretending to be a global war? You are, yes, you are. Yeah, it's like I just want to point out, like, and you need to keep in mind the third rank of the whole carrier list is China. So it's kind of wild to me how some people are like, oh, can the USA still project power? They can if they wouldn't be, you know, incompetent. Because, like, I'm sorry, 11 carriers, you know, 11 carriers that already outmatch every single other carrier by every other nation. And the next one close has 3 that are closer to, you know, the class they do not even consider a carrier? Yeah, that's what I just mean with, if you want to have, like, actual carrier in the size of Nimitz class, you need a country that can actually pull that off. And the only ones that can do that right now is China and, in theory, India. So just to make my point, yeah, in this timeline, India definitely built them carriers because holy shit, they're like the only nation that is capable of doing that. God damn it, France is pretending so hard actually. You know what the funniest bit is about this whole thing?
We need attack support on the marked objective.
Be advised, objective hotel has been neutralized. All squads, heavy armored vehicles ready for deployment. Be advised, objective Golf has been lost. Enemy has a lead and objectives held. They're about to take ground.
Objective Charlie neutralized.
But I mean, then we still have the very funny topic of, you know, some people still looking at France being like, why does Germany not have an aircraft carrier? And, I don't know how to say that, but, technically we do not need one. But anyway. Carriers are just, like, kind of fascinating, but also, yeah. I think Italy also still has one. They just, it's generally just kind of funny how much Italy just keeps LARPing as a maritime superpower. I mean, okay, you know, not that, Not that they didn't have like an impressive fleet, it's just everything.
We've taken objective Charlie.
We are attacking objective Delta. Be advised, the enemy are now in control of more objectives. Transport helos are prepped and ready for use. We now control more objectives. Secure our defenses. Attack support needed on marked objective. The enemy is taking more objectives. The enemy has just taken territory. Alpha is no longer a target.
The enemy has secured more objectives. Let's rally and counter. We now hold more objectives. Keep pushing. Move to attack the marked objective. The enemy has secured more objectives. Let's rally and counter. Our attack on Echo is underway.
I like the boat cannon.
Enemy attacking on Storm Bravo. Objective Echo neutralized.
Haha.
We now hold more objectives. Keep pushing.
Take that architecture. I mean, just so you know, I said this before, this was actually on like a Battlefield 4 map. Like, okay, a building with like almost one-to-one the same layout, but you could like actually tear down the sides, so just to see how much you can do here.
You're outside the combat area. Return ASAP. We're attacking objective Bravo.
we go. Definitely need to aim more with the minimap than anything else with this cannon, I think. Okay, so are you... Nice! Patrol boat. Ooh, rotary MG.
Move to attack the marked objective.
Ha!
Be advised, hostiles attacking Bravo.
Doing pretty well right now.
IR vehicles prepped and ready to go. Be advised, enemy attack confirmed at Charlie. Alright, we now control more objectives. Secure our defenses. Charlie. Objective Delta has been neutralized. Objective Delta taken by hostiles.
I'm a good driver though.
Hostiles now hold more objectives. Out.
It's kind of cool that they added a mortar to the back. You can definitely do some interesting things with that.
Be advised, hostiles now control Delta.
That was a pretty good run, I'd say. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I was like, yeah. Let's try a new DMR.
We are losing on all fronts. Target their positions.
I mean, yes, we were on the water and drove, but you know, you get the gist.
Take what you can out of here.
We've secured more objectives. Let's hold it.
Defend that point. Secure the objective.
Um,
Aircraft fueled and ready. Pilots are ready to engage. All mission objectives secured.
Defensive position needed on the marked objective.
no! That Ivy. I didn't want to die.
Be advised, hostiles are attacking objective Echo.
I still didn't want to die.
The enemy is taking more objectives. Enemies are attacking objective Foxtrot.
We've begun our assault on Echo.
Our forces have neutralized Echo. Attack support needed on the marked objective.
I think afterwards we will look if there is breakthrough on this map.
Stop them from holding the majority of objectives. All right, our forces control more objectives than the enemy.
Well, that was short.
Attacking objective Delta. Objective marked. We need you supporting the attack. Our attack on Echo is underway.
Grab what you can!
And then we lost. All right. Hey, you know what? I am definitely also looking forward to Wake Island because, like, I mean, it's Wake Island, you know? Wake Island's gonna be good. Hell, I'd probably be very disappointed if, Wake Island wasn't good. It's interesting. Contaminated doesn't have breakthrough, but there's Russian Iberian of Senses, but not breakthrough. Well, let's actually look for a breakthrough patch on Zero Reef. It's gonna be interesting. I wanna see how that looks. Okay, we're NATO. Are we attacking or we're defending? Oh, we're defending. Okay, so it's not a... Sadly not a beach... I hope they make it into a beach landing at some point. You know what I'm... I only consider a Battlefield title complete if there is a good beach landing. Because beach landings are just... I love beach landings. Let me a good beach landing, even if it doesn't make any fucking sense at all. They kind of are. Like, I mean, even Bad Company 2 had them. And Bad Company 2 didn't even have, like, the lineup to do that. Like, they had rebuilds and jet skis, and that was it. But, yeah, somehow, a lot of times the game is not, like, built with the idea of having beach landings in mind. You know? But then, you know, the ones that have it are actually, like I'm just going to say, aside, like, all the games that had a beach landing from the beginning and it had things built around them to have beach landings are actually considered to be, you know, the, well, not the pinnacle, but like some basically the most well-remembered ones of the whole series. And I mean, obviously there's 1942. Yeah, you didn't really have, you had like Conquest Assault, and like there were a bunch of maps with beach landings because, I mean, it's World War II. If you don't have a beach landing, especially in the Pacific theater, it's not World War II. That's just that. But then you have Battlefield 2, and oh, what do you look at that? There's a reason the American faction is the US Marines, because the US Marines have stuff like the LAV, so, you know, amphibious stuff, and the is it called I think it's even called Amtrak. So, you know, you can actually land the good stuff. Battlefield 3 also has beach landings because, yes, I guess who's it again? With amphibious IFVs and all of that. I mean, the Russians had the BMP-2, which is still kind of funny to think about. My god, did they have some classics, like, in, like, I mean, 2, obviously have Gulf of Oman. That shit was good. Like, if they ever bring back, a beach landing season, I want to see Gulf of Oman. That was a classic. Operation Clean Sweep, that was also, like, such a good map. Operation Clean Sweep, and I'm thinking, like, whether they still had one. Those were like the two big ones, the two really good ones actually. Blue Pearl, Dalian Plant, Dragon Valley. And then you go to 3 and you're like, you know, Cock Island. Wait. Yeah, let me be clear here, it was kind of weird. Suddenly hearing the name Cock Island in, you know, the news. Because, look, I don't know how many times I've landed on goddamn Cock Island, because it's just one of those, yep, it's one of those classics, you know? It's just, you gotta have, you should have played Cock Island. That was just a good fucking map, especially in Rush. The name was still pretty solid in 15, okay, I'd have some levels to do. And even in Conquest was pretty good. All the DLC, Banda Desert, also pretty good one. Then, I mean, they brought it back in, even back in 2042. Nosha Canals, even though, I do not know how to put it in the best words, but Nosha Canals is a wonderful, wonderful map. Just there's a slight problem. Just a teeny tiny problem. I can show you in a second, actually. But which is kind of why I'm thinking if they ever do, if they ever, you know, if they actually confirm that, you know, the PAX carriers were made in India, they could basically set Nosha in India as like, you know, a wharf where, you know, they are, the carriers are being built. It just look. I'm just putting something up here, okay? So, yeah. But definitely a great one. It's just one of those. Oh yeah. That definitely doesn't make that much sense. So, because the thing I want to just show you is, this is, by the way, Nosha canals in Battlefield 3, and, you know, also in 2042, yada yada yada. And kind of the... And just a thing you need to keep in mind, this is, the USA attacking with, by the way, an amphibious assault ship. I showed you it's a Wasp-class. This is the Essex.
Our attack's working. Enemy numbers down.
And you're like, probably, oh, yeah, you know what? It's kind of obvious, you know? They have to do a beach landing, so they probably just drove up the carrier, and that's it, right? There's their canals, here's like the harbor. Sure, no, not a problem. So the thing is, this is where Noshar is. Do you see the problem with the whole beach landing in Nosha from a USA Wasp carrier? You might have seen the kind of glaring problem they somehow did. Because, like, Kark is over here, the Banda Desert is over here, and I mean Oman is over here, so all of the other maps make complete sense. They're in the Gulf. That's not a sea, well, that's a lake, more to be more precise. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting that I will say I do kind of want to have a remake of Nosha, but like kind of set in a place where it actually would make sense to be able to drive up with a carrier, someone would need to just build a carrier in the Caspian Sea, which isn't really a sea, it's a lake. So, you know, oops, that's a problem.
Move to attack the marked objective.
Need a medic! You have me back!
Take green fatality.
So yeah. But yeah, beach landings are a staple. I mean, hey, Battlefield 4 also had, you know, amphibious stuff, and you had maps like Parcel Storm, Hainan Resort. There was like even more naval than just amphibious landings, and but yep, nope. Then they just kind of started having this trend of getting beach landings in the in later ones, and I don't know, it's weird because, like, okay, look, here's the thing about the beach landing in Battlefield. As you said, it's a staple, you know. But there is a thing where I can say, yes, there are settings where beach landings are not that common, you know. And in that regard, I will say, isn't it actually kind of fun to then try and, you know, find a way where it would make sense? Like, look, I get why, for example, there wasn't one in Hardline. Like, I get it, Hardline is also a good one, but they could have actually made some maps where, you know, I mean, you know, you would need to have a mode for that, but that's a different thing. There was Highest. You could still have brought back Conquest Assault. The thing is just, it's doable. Probably thinking like, oh, but which one would work? And they had a map in the Miami Keys. They had a map in Alcatraz. Generally, like, if they ever bring back the Alcatraz map, which was good, I would say make it a beach landing. It's one of those, you can be creative. Another obvious thing is, for example, in... Oh. Which I need to say, yes, they kind of, I don't want to say they cheated, they just kind of made it more... Like, you know, Battlefield 1, you're like, oh, it's World War 1, there wasn't really, like, beach landings there, right? Well, technically, there were two. And they're in the game. And they're okay, actually. Okay, they even made technically one of them is not really a full beach landing, but the other one is actually, but then they made something into a beach landing, which I kind of respect the hell out of, that they went there. Okay, just so you know. So what I mean is, so basically, because it's World War One, they had Gallipoli, okay? So, but they had Gallipoli with the ship and, you know, the bridge that you can run over, but you can also drive boats to the beach, which, again, we can just say this is an alternate timeline where World War One was even more mechanized than what they used. But, you know. at Gallipoli, there was the, what was it called again? So there was was it called Operation Albion? I think it could have been. Maybe I'm mixing it up. But basically, it wasn't a thing by the, the German Empire that they, in their war against Russia, they had, and this actually, by the way, happened. So, this, by the way, happened. So they actually made a landing in one of the islands in the Baltic Sea, in front of the, like, in the Russian territory, and seized them. And this is actually the first, I think, the first successful naval landing, like amphibious naval landing in modern history. So, yeah, I mean, okay. If you walk up against, you know, the Russian Empire at that time, which... Do we really want to talk about the military, escapade of the Russian Empire during World War One? Yes, we're doing. It wasn't the best, but, yeah, they did a beach landing in the snow, and it worked out. Which is kind of ironic that everyone just remembers Gallipoli and how it failed. When, I guess, if you just have better generals, you can manage to just, you know, do a beach landing. And if you're also not Churchill, I guess. God, the British sucked so much. And then they also had a Zeebrugge, you know? The thing where there wasn't even anything really happening in World War One aside from but hey, now the British were attacking Belgium.
You're leaving the AO. Return to combat.
Better general? No, I mean, the Germans had the better generals. Like, look, there's this one thing about, I think it's again one of those things about military history and stuff where I will say, people really do not understand, like, really learn the wrong lessons from history about fascism because it feels nicer. Because, like, if you go and say, oh, yeah, you know what, everyone in the German army was incompetent, I'm sorry to say that this might have been, like, the one time a country that went fascist was not incompetent in a bunch of ways. It's just, again, fascism is self-defeating, and I said that a lot of times, and I will repeat that, but it just fucking is. Because, like, look, aside from, I'm going to be very blunt here. In our timeline, Germany had no chance of winning World War One. However, and this is like a very big however, they actually did. Like, if their last offensive went well and they actually were able to capture the railway hubs, and they got very close, by the way. The Western Front could have been stalled a lot more. Like, it was going actually really badly for the Allies shortly before Germany surrendered. And the only reason that they could even hold out that much was just the fact that, well, Russia surrendered already. See, the thing here is, I said this before, World War I was going really badly for the Allies. Like, the Western Front was, a grind. Not only that, the Western Front was a grind, and the Allies lost more people from what I remember than the Germans, because the Germans had, like, the better trench network. People just survived more. But also, because Russia surrendered, Germany was able to pull millions of veterans from the Eastern Front, which, you know, just couldn't measure up with the fact that, well, America joined the war because there was this certain telegram that was definitely a great idea to send. You know what? Let's actually keep using the out a little bit more. Let's actually modify it. But yeah, it's a big thing. But the part I want to point out is that a lot of those generals from the German Empire then later ended up under the Nazis, and
Attack support is needed on the marked objective.
hell, there's a reason it kind of went to shit for the Italians. Look, again, they couldn't have, like, won against the Americans at any time because, you know, the Americans were just war. Different topic. But in general, I think there is an argument to be made that they had really good generals that knew tactics, that knew how to wage war, and that is kind of important to keep in mind because holy shit, World War II only went so bad because, you know, German generals didn't suck, Allied generals did suck a lot, you know, until Americans came. Then you have the other part of just the fascists will destroy themselves. And we're seeing this right now. Like, look, a good example is the fact that the moment you live in fascism, you kind of want to. It's all about your prestige and your rank, okay? And this just generates, like, even if you have like a very competent lineup of people on paper, this will just create the conditions for them to self-sabotage. All the time, always. And that just happened all the time. Like, for example, even the first Ardennes strike was technically insane. It's not a bad plan on paper, but the obvious downsides were, you know, obvious, too obvious. But you know, because generals were like, you know, we need to show that we can, like, get the French. They went and did it anyway, to the point that the French were just like, no one is going to do that. And then they did it. Then they also wanted to, you know, attack the... again, there's always these things that were always reframed as like, oh, you know what, we were just held back. Which, yeah, they were for good reasons. Like, let's just not mince words here. For example, if you go and talk about, for example, Dunkirk, everyone's like, oh, why didn't they attack? because it was smarter. Like, let's just be clear here. Yeah, the British and were trapped. The Germans were stretched. Like, if they attacked then and there, it could just turn around again. That would be bad. So, there's a reason they held off. They also, you know, tried to be the first ones to invade Moscow. At the cost of everyone else, because, you know, again, if you're the one that, you know, gets that target first, you get the glory. So, you know, suddenly all those generals with, like, experience, knowledge, and a lot of times better tactics just fuck themselves over. And that's the thing that I want to point out. I do not, I will just say that German generals during the Nazi era were not bad generals. They just, again, self-sabotage, because fascism as an ideology leads to self-sabotage. It leads to people trying to maximize their own, you know, glory, their own reputation, instead of, you know, making good decisions. Similarly, look at, for example, currently the whole war in Iran. Would this be a stupid war in any case? Yeah, that's not a thing I will not deny. The thing is just, it is going so remarkably bad for the USA. A nation where, and I will just say it's outright, actually has a lot of knowledge under their belt of how to technically deal with that. To the point that you're just wondering what the fuck is going on, actually. Like, why are these people that, like, on paper have complete technical domination and also access to so much knowledge, why are they unable to even, you know, be smart about it? Because the reality is, we're talking fascism. Fascism has the wrong priorities. It will always have the wrong priorities. Like, it is about destroying things, mainly because, you know, destroying things looks good. You cannot sell, like, what Trump and their people want to do is show strength. And truth be told, the correct way to actually do that would be disabling the drones. Now, the problem here is, and I'm going to be very blunt about that, disabling or, you know, countering the Iranian drones isn't flashy. It's basically just, you put up some old, you know, a bunch of old Cold War anti-aircraft guns and people with MGs and create basically a big, you know, ring. And then just bleed their resources dry with cheaper methods of countering, because the drones are cheap and slow and you can fire them down. We know that from Ukraine. Again, fascism. Fascism wants to show strength. So fascism fires rockets. Expensive, useless rockets. That's the thing I will just keep saying. You need to, it's a critical thing, because, like, you could say, yes, these people are dumb, but, like, again, the competence gets eroded during fascism, because it is prioritizing spectacle, it is prioritizing might, it is, and also, it is very easily spooked. Like, for example, one of the most famous examples from World War II was the Germans did like their first airborne invasion of Crete, which went really fucking bad to a degree. Like, yeah, there were tensions before it because, you know, there were British people and such on the island, but basically Nazis rained from the sky, and the British just were like, we can just fire at them. And also, the people on Crete just, like, literally saw the Nazis falling from the sky and just grabbed everything they could have and shot back. Now, the thing is, again, this is, like, kind of the perfect example. It wasn't like... It was very badly executed. If you look into the whole, into the fact that airborne troops became very common during World War II later on, like famously, I mean, mainly used by the Americans because, you know, America just kind of, like, you could even say America definitely looked at Crete and just learned all the correct lessons from it, like dropping people in more safe distance in the back, but, you know, don't not use them as like the main force, because, you know, for Nazi Germany this was oh, we, you know, just drop people on the island and we win. Meanwhile, the Americans were like, you know, we drop people troops in the back and they then attack the rear while we still have like a main invasion in an amphibious way. Like, I'm sorry to say this, yeah, the Heart of Iron 4 strategy does not work. You shouldn't do that in real life. Anyway. But they never did it again. Why? Because the simple fact of it went badly, it looked bad, quite literally made them so afraid that they never tried to even improve on anything. The optics were more important than anything else. There was no learning. And I think you get my point of, like, this is how they self-sabotage. You can be actually competent and it will destroy your ability to do things. Oh well, you know what, back to some more interesting topics. Heatwave is going down here again, which is nice, even though I think I actually drove away from you know,
Take what you can carry.
because there were some thunderstorms with my when I was at my parents there, and I think they're now actually pulled upwards to where I am. So I think I actually drove past the rain on Sunday, which is actually kind of funny to think about. But hey. Corn. Interesting.
Be advised, hostiles are attacking objective Bravo.
By the way, how was everyone's week? Well, last week. I wasn't here, didn't ask. So, how's everyone doing? How's everything going? I think I also wanted to say something about beach linings, but well.
Be advised, enemy forces have captured Alpha.
Objective Bravo has been secured.
We have been severely depleted. Stop our losses.
You're a lifesaver!
Right that we don't have any vehicles in the, during this one. Again,
Rampage! Reloading!
this feels very much like there should be some amphibious IFV. At least, at the very least.
Nice run!
The enemy have captured Bravo.
Objective.
Let's move!
You know what? Let's look for one round of rush on the map, and I think that's it for today then. Custom search, breakthrough out, rush in. Good. I mean, it's Rush. I like Rush, and I think we should check out at the very least how the Rush layout on this map looks like.
Be advised, hostiles have destroyed objective Bravo.
So it is kind of the...
Hostiles are targeting our comms units. They must be protected.
But instead of going over here, it goes into the... Ah. I wonder why they didn't make it like a 4-stage thing. Again, they could have done that with a beach landing. I'm getting like... I think I'm starting to repeat myself similarly to what I did last game, because sorry, beach landings are amazing and I think they should add a beach landing.
Hostile numbers have fallen. Keep it up.
Did I say they should add a beach landing? Because they should add a beach landing. And you're probably like, oh yeah, you know, obviously they should probably turn, you know, the maps in the Pacific into beach landings. And that's true. They should also turn the one of the New York maps into beach landing. Actually, why not both New York maps into beach landings? I want to see that. I want to see a carrier driven up the Hudson River.
Enemy charges on.
Do they even fit in there? They should. I think at least the Wasp class should. Oh, you know, we could get one of the French ones. Yeah, this is basically... Oh yeah, it's from there, right. Oh, so you moved the pool then, yeah. And it does fit. Why the hell didn't they just put Hainan Resort onto the map, on the map then? Oh well.
Enemy charges armed on objective Alpha.
Hostile charge defused on objective Alpha.
You're leaving the AO. Return to combat.
Hostile explosives set on Bravo.
Be advised, hostiles have armed Hostile charges defused on objective Bravo.
I think they definitely need to add one more sector to either breakthrough, to each breakthrough and rush, and make these, beach landings down the line. Because I'm sorry, it's not like, every single game in the series got good with a beach landing. You're probably gonna be like, oh, but, no, Battlefield 1 had, problems in the multiplayer, especially with time to kill. And they fixed that around... Oh yeah, right, when the first beach landings hit. Ooh, oh well, no, earlier, but that's a different topic. I think one is the one exception, but, going through trenches is kind of a beach landing, I guess. And then you have, but 5 had problems, and then they added beach landings, and it was good. Battlefield 2042. I mean, it got better, and you could say it was really good, but I will say the best it was when it added the beach landing right at the very end. That was good. Again, I just want some beach landings. Like, a girl can have some dreams, some demands, I would, like, it would be kind of cool to have stuff like, maybe LV25 again. I don't know if they even use still, but the other modern version. And maybe give back some like French ones. Or if they are spicy, they could make like a European faction with all the French vehicles and all the missing German ones. Would be cool. Nice. One attack round. That fits perfectly.
All units, enemy communications must be destroyed. Targets are marked. Move out. Our troops have set explosives on Alpha. Our charges on objective Alpha have been disarmed. Move to attack the mark objective.
Take what you can carry. Need a medic!
Find explosives on Alpha.
Hey. really like fighting in this small town.
That's fucking impressive.
Really works in Rush, I'd say. Again, in Breakthrough, I think the infantry part isn't working. They should have given at least an IV. Or, you know, armored car. Would have probably been better. But one. I do think an amphibious IV would have been probably the best, but oh well.
Drop what you got. Take these med supplies. Here's some ammo for you.
Grab what you can. Here. Thank you.
I need a fucking medic. I need a medic.
Grab this cover.
I need a medic.
I need a medic.
I need a medic.
Oh hey, Connor. That's nice to hear. Also trying out the new season, I see. Damn, yeah, this is not going well. Yeah, overall, I would say this is pretty nice. I'm still looking forward to, you know, the second part because, you know, Wake Island, it's Wake Island, and I think it sounds like they add carriers and more beach landing stuff, so. You know me, beach landing enthusiast #1. Yeah, that's also a thing here. I don't think that's supposed to reset. But yeah. Also two-seater jets. It's actually kind of cool to see them back. Haven't had those since Battlefield 2. They actually planned on having them Battlefield 3, but then it just never happened, so. But yeah. You liking Beach? Never heard you talking about that. Never. Oh no! Never heard of me about talking how Battlefield 5 went good the moment they added a beach landing. Oh yeah. No, I generally, like, I think I want to see two things though from Season 5 though. It could be that it's actually not Vegas, which, look, Vegas would be interesting, but you can't add naval warfare and then, like, set the next season in the fucking desert. I'm sorry. I do think Season 5 should be 3 more naval maps. At that point, I think we can talk about the whole water aspect being kind of, you know, expand upon enough. But I do hope they will add, that they will actually add amphibious IVs and some more amphibious stuff, because it's needed, I think. Like, it definitely feels like one of those things that should be on Tsuru. It's something that should just, you know, be there at some point. Yeah, I mean, look, I do think they could have changed them up a bit more, like, you know, that, you know, amphibious IVs get like the same health as the current IVs, and the current IVs have more armor, you know, as in real life. So you could say, you know, oh hey, some are just more you know, they're more lighter armored, but, you know, amphibious, and the other ones are on maps, or maybe even the same map, depending on where they spawn, that are just a bit more tanky. The thing is just, they need them to a degree. You know, that's just a thing, in my opinion. It is absolutely odd that they just keep doing that. Like, I mean, okay, look, we're just looking at NATO. This is basically just the land army. Fine. I'm okay with that. But, like, I find it interesting that we don't have, you know, a naval army? That they just kind of slapped, you know, the normal stuff into the name. I really hope they separated them. How long do you want to continue playing? Are the streamers over now? If I keep playing, that's a different topic though. But yeah, the stream is going to, I want to wrap the stream up at the very least. That's a different thing. But yeah, the thing is just, season 5, in my opinion, is, but you know, we could maybe still talk a bit and stuff. I just need to check something, okay? The thing is just, I really hope season 5 is still like at least 3 more naval maps to a degree, because that would really be like, okay, it's not just, you know, oh, we have boats on like 2 maps, but like, okay, here's more. And I think, you know, they could definitely have more amphibious vehicles on certain maps. Like, I will just say there should be an amphibious map in Gibraltar. But yeah, in general, I'd say if they bring amphibious stuff in, which they should also turn Fort Linden into at least 2 maps, at the very least. You know, the Battle Royale map. They should definitely turn the Manhattan Bridge into a beach landing, because it's already at the river and supposed to be one, but that's me. And yeah. And then maybe confirm the whole Indian carrier thing and turn the Shah Canals into an Indian wharf map, so it actually makes sense for once that you can land there. Yeah, but yeah, that's basically my just let we will be back next week. Just, you know, for more stuff, more weapons, more gun, more enjoyable things, and then in a few weeks there will be Wake Island 2-seater jets. Carrier assault is coming back, so if you like the more, you know, okay, look, it's kind of the worst version of Titan mode, because they can't have Titans. Why is there no sequel to 2143, guys? I know you want to make it. I know you want to do the sci-fi game. Why are you not making it? But still, hey, Carrier assault is coming back, and that's gonna be cool. So yeah, see you around then. Have a good time. And tomorrow, hopefully, we're back again with Monster Hunter Portable Third, which is hopefully gonna be fun. So yeah, see you around. Bye!